Hey everybody, how's it going? This has been something I've wanted to do for a while. I've wanted to talk about sex for years, but it's kind of one of those things that you just kind of keep pushing down on your to-do list, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you're doing that with your video about sex too, huh? Anyways, so about a month ago I just felt really strongly that it is time to share my story, because a lot of you know me as this like Jesus following, Lord loving, praising girl, which I am, but I was not that way for a long time, and I actually wanted nothing to do with God for a good amount of years, a good portion of my young adult life. So I just want to bring you back and tell you the story of why did I get so turned off to God, and the title already gave it away. So I'm just gonna fill you in and tell you. So I grew up in church, and I grew up in like a Pentecostal Assemblies of God church, so very strict, very rule oriented, regimented. It's kind of focused more on, I feel like, behavioral management and, like I said, rules. And so there was a lot of judgment that came along with that, and I don't know, I started to have a lot of questions in high school. My parents divorced when I was in early high school. My mom moved out, and I really struggled with coping with that. Let's rewind back to when I was 17. So I started talking to this guy, and I knew he wasn't some of the things I wanted or valued, or like he didn't have the qualities I wanted as far as like, oh, well, that's someone I want to marry. And I knew that early on, but I was really physically attracted to him, and it was just fun. I was like, I'm just having a phase. I'm going to go along with this. And so we started kind of like seeing each other and dating, if you will. It's high school dating. But physically, like, I hadn't done much with guys before him. I think just made out and stuff like that. So things started to progress a lot in that way. And I remember telling him, I don't want to have sex till I'm married. No matter what church you grew up in, you probably, have heard the same thing. And no matter what denomination, it's like, don't have sex till you're married. And so that's something I totally was trying to adhere to. That's something I had drilled into me, since my early teen years probably. So I told him that, and he agreed and, said, all right, that's fine. And so we tried not to. Actually, it was only me trying not to. So when there's only one person who's trying not to, it doesn't take long. I was struggling though a lot with understanding like what's wrong with this physical, what's wrong with doing this stuff. So I want to read something. It was a journal entry from December 16th, 2009. I just don't get this. I know what I do with that guy and all isn't right according to church and stuff, but why am I so crazy happy then? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't God want me to be happy? And I don't see what is wrong with doing stuff if you love them and you're not having sex. This was 2 weeks before I lost my virginity, and I didn't know what love was, but that's beside the point. I'll carry on. I don't get what's the big deal. I know the Bible says to stay sexually pure and all. I just don't understand why. What's so bad about it? It doesn't bother me, and it's fun. And drinking too. I just don't get what's wrong with everything I was taught is bad growing up. I can't make that sound. UGH. That's what I wrote. I just don't like it or get it. I'm so happy with him, and following all that church stuff would just make me unhappy all over again. Poor Sarah. She was so cute. So I'm just sitting there, doesn't God want me to be happy, right? And like I said, that was 2 weeks before I actually lost my virginity. So that happens. We had sex the first time, and I cried because I didn't want to. I wanted to wait. I still had that in me. I want to wait till I'm married. And so I cried. We tried for months and months not to do it. I tried. But as a 17-year-old with some particular hormones being particularly high, I didn't have the best self-control. So, I was more or less successful in trying not to have sex. So anyway, it kept happening, And then I remember at the end of my senior year, so maybe this is 3 or 4 months of fighting it, trying not to, doing it, being like, oh, whoops. So then I get to the end of my senior year, and I'm just like, this is dumb. Why am I fighting this? Like, I am so sick of fighting this thing. Who even made up the word sin? This is a joke. Like, sin does not exist. It doesn't have to exist if I don't acknowledge it. So I decided sin didn't exist, and I wasn't gonna adhere to that. Unsubscribe. I basically just threw in the towel and said, I already have questions about God. Like, I had questions building the whole entire year. It's questions, like, just literally big questions like everybody has about God. Like, how do people who never hear about God go to hell? You know, or how is God good when there's so much bad? I just threw this one into the pot. Like, what? Why wouldn't God want me to be happy? And that is what made me throw in the towel. The fighting sex, and then saying sin is dumb. So that was like the straw that broke the camel, or needle. Is it a needle or a straw? Actually, it's good sex that broke the camel's back. Oh, jeez. I literally just put God in a box in the corner and said, I already have enough questions. No thanks. I don't care to answer them. I'm done with this, and I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm just gonna, like, I wasn't an atheist. It wasn't that I didn't think there was a God. I just had too many questions and said, I don't care to answer them. Boom. So I kind of proceeded to just live how I wanted, do what I wanted, had all the sex I wanted, and did whatever else I felt like. And I thought it was good, you know, and I thought it was fun, and I thought I was happy, but it was a very, very toxic, unhealthy relationship. Sex was, I mean, this is like the summary version. I want to do another video talking way more in depth about sex, but sex was like the glue that, it was like a super glue that kept us together when we really shouldn't have been together. It provided this false sense of closeness that we didn't actually have. And I was in that for a really, really, really long time. I wouldn't say that I was a sex addict, but I was very attached to having someone. I was very attached to the physical part of that, and the physical part was the best part. Like, it wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't a great relationship. So, but the sex was great. So, you know, kept me coming back for more. Well, I want to do more videos talking about sex more in depth. I want to do another video talking about how and why I warmed back up to God and how I rediscovered God for myself from scratch, and because that's one of my favorite stories to tell. But this is just a precursor to describe it, because I want to summarize and share that that was one big issue I had with God, one question that I had with God that made me turn off to God completely for 7 years. And I remember being in Arusha like a few years ago when I was in Tanzania, and met this guy. He was like 40 or 50. I could tell he had some sort of issue with the church or God or religion or something like that. And he had some question, and that just, you know, God was not a part of his life. And here he was 40 or 50 living this life that I remember just thinking like, I'm not jealous of that. And I remember going home and being so glad and just saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I confronted and I answered these questions when I did in my mid-20s, versus spending my whole life being turned off to God because of one simple little thing. Everyone has questions about God, and it's okay to have them. It's okay to ask them. It's okay to have issues or frustrations. Like, we have small, simple minds and we don't understand everything, and that's okay, but don't let it turn you off to God as a whole. Like, do whatever you can to, like I said, go to that box in the corner like I had and just open it a crack, because living without God versus living with God, you can live without God, yes, but you're settling for something that is so much less than what you were created to experience. And it's like, I mean, I think of it as living without God is like living in this cardboard box, and you're looking around, you're like, oh, my box is big, it's great, it's nice and brown, I love it, cool, life is good. But then God actually has like a house with walls and floor and ceiling and windows and insulation, and he's like, I want to move you into this. And when he moves you into this, you look at that box and you're like, I never want to go live in the box again. I just want to encourage you to ask those questions. Don't put God away because you have one issue with the church, with religion, with God, you have a bad history, whatever, most of us have had that, and all of us have had questions. But I can tell you, the more I lean into it, the more I embrace, the more I understand about the creator of the universe. It is the best life I could ever imagine, and it just keeps getting better. I keep getting healthier and freer the more connected I am to God. But that took me finally saying, okay, God, I don't understand you. I have a lot of questions, but I'll let you in a crack. And then I let him in a crack, and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to open the door a little more, and a little more, and a little more. And like I said, that's for another video. But God is so big and real and abundant and amazing, and I want your life to include him. There is something better, and that's with God being a part of your life, and a significant part of your life. The more a part of your life he is, the better it is. That's what I'm discovering, and I stand by that till the end of time. So that's what I wanted to share, and can't wait to make some more videos. If you want to see some more, let me know. Definitely gonna be making a video about sex, baby. Let's talk about it, not you and me. And I'll see you next time. Bye.